Hey guys, Bobby here from Wedding Cinema University, and today I want to give you an easy step-by-step guide on how to update the firmware on your Zhiyun Crane. Now the Zhiyun Crane has been a competitor in the electronic gimbal scene pretty much since it came out. It's smooth, it's well built, and it's priced pretty cheaply. However, it limited its users to flying a mirrorless system or those smaller DSLRs, as it couldn't hold anything larger. It also limited the lenses you could use with certain cameras, and all in all, you had to stay below 1200 grams. Now with this latest firmware update, it has really become a competitor, as it can now hold 1800 grams, which opens the door to different lenses, as well as larger DSLRs such as the 5D series, the 6D series, and the Nikon equivalents, as well as some others. So our setup on this now is 1650 grams, or right around there. It is the Sony a7S II with the 16 to 35 Zeiss lens, as well as a Manfrotto quick release, and it has handled it perfectly. Now, we are not usually the people who jump right in and firmware update as soon as possible. In fact, in this case even, we're not doing so. It's been out a little while, but even if you're flying a lighter setup, I would still recommend doing the update, as it will allow your motors to get a little more power and will smooth out some micro vibrations that I saw in my original video. They were very small, not super noticeable, and the footage was of course still very usable, but the smoother you can get in camera, the better, so this will help out with that. All right, so here we are in the computer. The first step is to plug your Zhiyun Crane into your computer using the provided USB cable. Now, I'm not going to show that. It's fairly straightforward. I also won't be showing powering it on, and I'll tell you when to do so. But the first thing after plugging it in is you need to get the necessary firmware file, as well as a few other things from Zhiyun. So their website is just www.zhiyuntech.com, and you'll come over here to support and then go to download. And as soon as this loads, you'll be downloading, if you've never done a firmware update, you will be downloading 3 different things. Depending on what system you're using, I'm using an Apple computer, so I'm going to be over here in this area. And you're going to download first the USB driver. I've already done this, so I won't be downloading it here, but you'll just click and it will download. Then you'll be downloading the tools, which is basically the software that you use to install it. I would be downloading the one for Mac OS X. Of course, if you're using Windows or something else, you might be over here. And then you'll come down. We are looking for the firmware for the Crane. And I did download both of these. They have 2 options listed. This one looked like the most recent firmware. It was 1.52, and this was 1.5, I believe. So I have downloaded this one in the middle, and that has appeared to be the most recent one. So once you have all 3 of those, you're going to go into your downloads, which I already have up here. And first thing you're going to do is install. I'm going to make this bigger just so I can see which ones I have here. All right, perfect. So this is the Tools app, this is the driver, and then this is the firmware. So you're going to unzip first the driver, and then you're going to go in here, and then it's down here. Double click on the package and just go through the normal install stuff. All right, now that that's done, the next thing you're going to do is you can go back into your downloads, and you are going to unzip the Tools app. And then you'll double click on the DMG, and it will open up, and double click on the little icon. Now, if you saw here, I'll bring it up again. This is my, it says that Zhiyun Tools cannot be opened because it's from an unidentified developer. So what you need to do is go into your system preferences, go into security, and mine actually shows here, so you could change this. Mine is only allowing things from the Mac App Store and other identified developers. If you have this on anywhere, it will open without that message. One nice thing is you don't actually have to change anything. You can see here it has a message here that says that it was blocked, and I can click on open anyway and click open. All right, so I'm going to close out my system preferences, and then here we go. So this is the app here. This is what you would also use to calibrate or do different settings, which we can get into. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, now that we have this installed, I'm going to close that, and I'm going to turn on my Zhiyun Crane now. All right, so my Zhiyun Crane is now on. It's done its little startup movements and whatnot. And after that is done, you're going to go to the joystick, and you're going to press it in, and you're going to hold it for 3 seconds. And that should put it in the mode to be recognized by this. So I've actually got to go in, and I'll bring this up to the front here. And I'm just going to hit open first, right up here. And you can see here, the product is the crane. It should automatically register there. Now, I don't have my camera on my crane right now, which is why things are kind of going crazy. So this is where you would do settings, calibration. So now that we're in the firmware update, I'm actually going to go into my downloads. You need to unzip that firmware. So this is Crane firmware. Zip. Just double click it. It'll unzip, and now it's down here. So I'm going to go back into my Zhiyun Gimbal Tools, and we're in the firmware upgrade tab. Everything is connected. You can see the crane is recognized up here. And I'm going to go find that firmware. So it is in downloads again. It moved it. So crane firmware is what it's called. And you're going to select this PTZ file, hit open, and then you just click upgrade. So you can see here, I was currently on 1.51, and I'm upgrading to 1.52. And as you can see, the upgrade is complete. It was successful. So we're going to turn off the gimbal, and then we're going to turn it back on. So I turned it off, turned it on, then I closed it out, reconnected it, and you can see if I go to the firmware upgrade in the device info, it is currently at 1.52. So that was my step-by-step guide on how to update the firmware on your Zhiyun Crane. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer anything. Or if you have ideas for future videos, I'd love to hear that as well. And as always, if you like this video, I'd love for you to subscribe below to follow along for more Wedding Cinema University videos to teach you how to expand your craft and your business. Thanks.